So let's talk about something I think a lot of us know all too well. It's this strange feeling of being super ambitious. You've got these huge goals, but you feel lazy. It's a really frustrating paradox, right? Well, it turns out the solution might actually come from a simple law of physics.
I mean, does this sound familiar to you? You know exactly what you need to do. You've got the vision, you can see the finish line, but when it's actually time to do the work, you just get stuck. You find yourself scrolling on your phone or suddenly deciding it's the perfect time to organize your sock drawer. Literally anything else.
And it's such a vicious cycle, isn't it? We start off strong, maybe at the beginning of the year, full of all this motivation. Then, slowly but surely, procrastination starts to creep in. And that leads to guilt, because we know we can do more. And eventually, after a while, that guilt kind of just morphs into this defeated feeling where we just start calling ourselves lazy.
So how in the world do we break this cycle? You know, a lot of us, we try to treat the symptoms. We try to use willpower. We try to just force ourselves to be more disciplined. We get mad at ourselves. But the thing is, the real issue isn't on the surface at all. It's actually way deeper.
I mean, we've all heard the advice, right? Delete your social media apps, get rid of distractions, or, my personal favorite, just be more disciplined. And look, those things might help a little, but they don't get to the fundamental force that's working against us. The real root cause, the real enemy, can be summed up in one powerful word: inertia.
That's right, we are talking about physics. You definitely remember this from science class. Newton's first law of motion. It basically says that an object that's not moving is going to stay not moving, unless some outside force comes along and gives it a push. It's the reason it's so hard to get a heavy box to start sliding across the floor.
But here's the cool part. This law doesn't just apply to boxes or bowling balls. It applies perfectly to our to-do lists. That unfinished project, that essay you need to write, even just getting yourself to the gym, they're all objects at rest.
So to start any of those things, you need to apply an initial push of energy to overcome that inertia. The big problem is that our brains imagine that push as this huge, massive, difficult effort. The thought of the entire task feels so overwhelming that we just avoid it completely and run to something easier, something that gives us a quick little hit of dopamine, like checking our notifications.
But here is the good news. Now that we know the enemy is inertia, we can fight it directly. And there are two incredibly simple, but seriously powerful ways to generate that initial push and just get yourself moving.
We're going to break down two key strategies here. First, we're going to reduce the stakes, which makes the task feel way smaller. And second, we're going to use the famous 2-minute rule to make starting feel almost effortless.
Okay, step one. If that initial push feels way too big, you just have to shrink it. That's it. The goal here is not to finish the whole thing at once. The goal is to make the act of starting so ridiculously easy that your brain can't even argue with it.
Let's take a classic example. The thought of writing a 5,000-word essay creates an absolute mountain of inertia. It's terrifying. But what about writing just 50 words? I mean, anyone can write 50 words. Suddenly, the stakes are super low, and that huge mental barrier just kind of crumbles away.
All right, technique number 2 is the 2-minute rule. It's pretty similar, but instead of focusing on the outcome, it focuses on time. You just tell yourself you only have to do the thing for 2 minutes. That's the deal. After 2 minutes, you have full permission to stop. No guilt.
Think about cleaning your entire messy room. The inertia is high. Your brain just wants to shut down. But what if you just decide to clean for the length of one of your favorite songs? You know, that's maybe 2 or 3 minutes. It's small, it's defined, it's an easy commitment. All you're trying to do is get the ball rolling.
So you might be thinking, okay, but what good is writing 50 words? What good is cleaning for 2 minutes? Well, this is where the magic happens. This is where the second part of Newton's law comes into play, and this is the real payoff.
Remember the full law? An object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion. Getting started is the hard part, but staying in motion? That's surprisingly easy.
See, once you finally overcome that initial inertia by writing those 50 words or cleaning for 2 minutes, you generate momentum. That tiny, easy start makes continuing the task so much easier than starting it ever was. And what you'll find is, more often than not, you don't actually stop after 2 minutes. You just keep going.
Think of it like this. Overcoming inertia is that hard, slow, grinding work of pushing a really heavy ball up a small hill. But once you get it to the very top, gaining momentum is like letting go and watching it just roll effortlessly down the other side, picking up speed all on its own.
And the beautiful thing is, you can apply this to literally anything you've been putting off. Don't think about going to the gym. Just think about putting on your gym clothes. Don't stress about working on your side hustle for hours just to open the document. Don't try to read a whole chapter. Just read one page.
Ultimately, it all comes down to this really profound idea. We get paralyzed because we're standing at the bottom, staring up at this entire massive staircase in front of us. But you don't have to worry about the top. All you ever have to do is focus on taking that one single, tiny first step.
So I want to leave you with this question. Think about that one big thing you've been putting off. What is the absolute smallest, easiest, 2-minute version of that task that you could possibly do right now? That's it. That's your first step. Now go break inertia.